Hey, bless up, bless up. How y'all doing today? Hope y'all doing well. Welcome on in. Thank you for coming in. Welcome on in. I see we got a few in here. Go ahead and put some T's in the chat. I will put them T's in the chat. Let me go and put my T's in the chat. Good afternoon to you all. I hope everything is going well. I hope you're doing prosperous. Because Lord knows it's a blessing to be here. I don't know about you, but I know about me. It's definitely a blessing to be here. And I want to first of all tell you thank you so much for coming in on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. It is going towards the end of June of 2024. And man, I don't know about y'all, but time is flying. Time is definitely fleet, and time is moving mighty fast. If you all can hear me, I would love if you all could give me a thumbs up. If you can see me and you can hear me, go ahead and give me some thumbs up to let me know that you are present and that you are here. I really would appreciate it. Shine Moss Farm, how you doing? Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. Many blessings to you. Many blessings your way. Thank you for coming in. Ask the Law Man got a tease in the chat. Hey, man, thank you for coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service, and thank you for what you do. Hold on for one quick second. Let me calm this noise in the background down just a little bit. I'll be right back, okay? Give me 1 second. What's going on, Timothy? Got the T's in the chat. Thank you for coming in, Timothy. Thank you for coming in. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Bougie Prepper, what's going on? Bougie, are you ready? Are you ready? Because we got some weather coming. And not just in certain parts of the United States, but throughout the world. Today, we're going to have a little bit slight serious conversation, but it can be fun based on your interaction, you know what I'm saying? But we want to have some serious talks because we have some things that we definitely need to take a look at. We definitely know that the weather patterns are definitely changing throughout the world. We are seeing record temperatures all the way up North America. We're seeing, even in Chicago, we're having some heat like the South. All the North this past week, welcome to the South. So we've been having a lot of different rain. We've been having areas that have not been seeing as much rain for as flooding. We've been having cities down South Florida. It's just been, it's been inundated with a bunch of rain, a bunch of water damage. And we know that a lot of those cities are not designed to handle that much rain. Now, if you have not been to South Florida, one thing about South Florida is it's flat. It's flat land. It's sandy soil. There's not a lot of mountains, not a lot of valleys or anything like that. Everything is flat. So most of your homes are constructed on a concrete slab. And as you all know, if you go back to when I grew up around Miami, my dad was from Miami, and I used to spend my summers in Miami. Most of those homes, the average home at that time, it was on a little thin slab, not that high off the ground because there was no reason. And most of the time we would get rain, we'd get showers every single afternoon. And those showers would come down very strong and very hard. And about an hour, maybe 45 minutes to an hour is gone. And the sand would dry it up and the St. Augustine grass would get nice and thick and lush. And that was, it was nothing for rain and rain showers to kind of pop up. But for that much rain and for South Florida to handle that much rain, let's continue to keep our thoughts and prayers as well. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to step on a limb and say the new Florida is Texas. Not just weather, but population, everything. The new Florida is Texas, because a lot of the things that we're counting over here in Florida, Texas is getting hit the same way. The only thing that I hope that they definitely keep is definitely that cold, that little snow in parts of Texas as well. MHW, how you doing? Good to see you. Greetings to you too as well. You can hear me clearly? Awesome. I'm glad. I'm so glad about that. Thank you for that feedback. Thank you for the thumbs up. Is that Kathy B? How you doing, Kathy B? Good to see you. You working. Be careful at work. Stay focused. You're definitely thankful. I know you're thankful for the job. I know you're thankful for the resources. I know you're thankful for the fam. I know you're thankful for everything. So thank you for coming on in. Yeah, we got to stay ready. I already know you're ready, Bougie. I know you're ready. And I wouldn't mind if you want to chime on in and then add a little information too as well, because there's no way in the world I can cover everything. But I do want to talk about some things about flooding and flood preparedness. This will be a little bit, I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible, but it will be a little bit lengthy to a certain degree. And a lot of this information I just try to give to you, and hopefully that you can absorb it and you can apply it to your lives too as well. Let's see. Timothy, what you got to say, Timothy? What I say? Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon to you too as well. And I don't know where you are, but tell me what's your weather. Go ahead and put it in the comments. What's your weather? Either put sunny, partly cloudy. We've been partly cloudy pretty much all day today. The temperatures have been fairly mild considering previous days, but it's going to heat up real quick because the clouds have started to dissipate and the sun is starting to beam out. So this afternoon, we're going to slowly creep up in the temperatures. We'll probably get in the low 90s today. I've been very, very thankful for not a lot of real hot weather throughout the day, but we need some rain. My particular area, the rain has been going all around it, south of us, west of us, north of us, east of us. And we have been like a little bubble where we have not been getting rain. And we have not got rain in probably about a month and a half, like substantial rain. We got a few little sprinkles. I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 minutes today. We got a few sprinkles early morning. But other than that, we haven't had anything. And everything is so dry. And I'm trying to keep everything alive. It's getting real hard. But we're trying to do the best we can. Be Rich, what's going on, man? Man, thank you so much. Thank you for that super chat, man. Really appreciate you. And thank you so much for your membership too as well. And if you want to become a member of Eco Nation, please go ahead and join today. And please hit that like too. You know, if y'all like the material, you like what we're talking about, and you kind of want to hang around, go ahead and hit the subscribe button too as well. You know, I would really appreciate that. That way you can stay in tune. And if you are an Eco Nation member, please send me your email and ask to be added to the actual, we do a chat on Instagram too as well. So if you are on Instagram, you would like to get in that chat, send me an email. You're a part of Eco Nation. One of the things that I'm getting ready to roll out starting in the month of August, I'm going to do a monthly newsletter. If you're interested in that monthly newsletter, send me an email to Eco Neighbor. I'm going to put it in here. econeighbor@gmail.com. And what we're going to do, we're going to just talk about, we're going to give you some highlights on what's going on the homestead. We're going to also talk about whatever the latest news, the current events too as well. And then some of those like information like this, like for information like this that I'll be giving out, we're going to go over a few resources. It'll have some of those resources in that monthly newsletter too as well. But that particular newsletter will be, you don't have to be a member. Anybody can join this newsletter. Anybody can be a part of it. And this newsletter would definitely allow us to keep another point of contact, allow us to send. I won't inundate you with a bunch of information. At any time, you can just say, stop sending me the newsletter. Just send an email to econeighbor@gmail.com. But if you're interested in this newsletter, this monthly newsletter, go ahead and send an email to econeighbor@gmail.com and say, sign me up. Just put in the subject, sign me up. And then we'll go ahead and put you on the list as we get ready to roll that out. So we're definitely looking forward to that. You'll get a heads up on what's going on and what's getting ready to happen too, as well as just different little resources that we have. So Bougie said right now it is 88 degrees. I feel this summer is going to be extremely hot. It's already summer down here, my friend. I mean, this AC been roaring, keeping it on 80. A matter of fact, I just shut it down. And now when I shut it down, I'm looking outside and I'm seeing the beautiful, beautiful sun peeking through the partly cloudy skies. The clouds have turned from a soft light gray, and now it's looking like it's a nice powdery white, fluffy, like a cumulus cloud. So it's starting to shape up to a beautiful afternoon, and I'm definitely going to be getting out there too. 87 in the big ATL, 87 degrees, slightly windy, partly cloudy in Atlanta, GA. So that's what's up. That's what's up. Hot Atlanta is still hot. Y'all are pretty much right in line with where we are. And just like I said, y'all interested in that newsletter, please send me a email to econeighbor@gmail.com. So we getting ready to jump on in. We getting ready to jump on into the subject matter. We're going to talk about a few things, and hopefully I can have everything flowing the way that I want to. Got a few things I want to show you and kind of walk you through, and then we're just going to go ahead and just dive on in. So let's go ahead and dive on in. And once again, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel, because without you, without your feedback, and make sure that you put it in the chat. If you got a question, go ahead and hit me up with a question, or even if you got a suggestion, you got different things, please add value to this conversation too as well. I am not there all to be all. I'm just here to kind of work with you and to kind of collaborate. And then if we can share some information, that'll be great. So we're going to go ahead and jump on in. So some of the things that I really want to talk about today, I want to talk about not just being prepared for the severe weather. We're watching down in the Gulf of Mexico right now as we speak today. Like I said, it is June the 19th, 2024. We're looking at some unsettling situations that are going on in the Gulf of Mexico. We're looking at some other situations that are going in the Atlantic. As we in the summer months, as you all know, in the South, we always kind of keep our finger on the pulse of the weather. As we watch some of these unsettling situations, we're going to see some tremendous rain from what I gather if things continue to happen. The goal is for this live broadcast is to get you prepared, get you ready for these weather conditions. And we're just going to focus primarily on flooding today. So we're going to talk about a lot of rain. We're going to talk about a lot of flooding. So let's talk about the different types of floods. You got flash floods. So all of a sudden you got this spontaneous rain. It just comes out of nowhere, or maybe it was in the forecast, and then all of this rain just came, and then now all of a sudden you typically either have saturated ground already from previous rain, or it could be just dry, and then all of a sudden the rain comes through and it just comes out of nowhere and it just floods all over the place. You got river floods. Of course, you have rivers and streams throughout the nation, throughout the world. And as the rain from up north comes in various ways, it could come through hot weather. It could come through a lot of rain up north. It could come in various ways. As you have those rivers swell, they swell up past their banks. Next thing you know, they start spreading out. All of a sudden, you got rain at your doorstep. I mean, you got water at your doorsteps. Then you have storm surges, tongue twister, storm surges. Storm surges, we really see those in the state of Florida during the hurricane season. Whenever the hurricanes start to actually hit or make landfall, there's a lot of storm surges. That's when that rain just comes and it just impacts and it hits land. And when it hits that land, you get water, you get rise, you get those storm surges that just come over. And even though you might have sandbags, even though you might have storm walls, cities and counties may have storm walls, they still will attack and hit those. So with that said, some of these storms, you have to prepare in different ways. You have to be ready in different ways. Some you get warnings and some you don't. But the key is, if we can prepare ourselves to the best of our ability, man, we can really arm ourselves with what we need to do. So first thing we need to do, you got this live, you listen to this live, you see the weather forecast, pay attention to the weather forecast. Understand, if rain is north of you, the storm doesn't have to hit you. If there's a lot of rain, a lot of saturation, that's coming north of where you live, understand your lakes and your streams are going to swell. All of the underground water tables are going to rise. So you're going to be impacted in one way or the other. Sometimes it can be a lot, sometimes it can be just a little bit. So let me share with you a true testimony of something that impacted me in my personal life when I grew up. I grew up in a little small town in South Georgia, and this particular small town was like the warning call for all of the other towns that came south of that town. And it kind of deals with that underground water table. Years ago, if y'all can remember, there was like 3 hurricanes that just came around, they circled around, and they just stayed in multiple states, and they just hung all over those states. You know, it was 3 of them. They became tropical depressions, and they just hung around and rain and rain and rain. Rain all up through Atlanta, and all that rain that comes down from Atlanta, guess what happens when it comes? It comes down south. And here it was, I was sleeping in my bed when I went to bed, nothing, you know, it rained probably about a good week or so. And it was all of a sudden, the rain kind of stopped that night, laid in my bed, woke up, got up out of the bed that morning. We lived kind of up on the hill on the incline. The road kind of went, it was a big old hill that you had to climb to go up the hill to downtown. And then it kind of went. So we was kind of on the slope of the hill. And of course, we had what we call Town Creek. Town Creek was a little bit further down the road from me. No real water around me. So I got in my car, went down to my uncle's station. He's a mechanic. Went down there, didn't think nothing about it. Got in my car, jumped in the car, made a couple of left, made a couple of right. As I was going down that particular hill, it was a street I was going down. All of a sudden, I saw barricades. I'm like, what's going on? Road is barricade. Didn't understand it. Backed my car up, turned around, went back to past my home, went down further down the road on my home. Barricades, road blocked off. I didn't know what's going on. I'm like, sun shining, everything's good. I knew it rained. I knew it's been raining. Didn't think about anything happening. Turned around, ended up going back the way that I originally went, parked my car side of the road, walked down the sidewalk, and we used to call it the bottom. The bottom, we had barbershops. We had a bunch of entrepreneurs. My uncle had a station down there with some homes mixed in with a little juke joints, mixed in with barbershops, a few restaurants, beauty shops, washerettes, all kinds of different stuff. And, you know, if y'all from the South, you know about those little towns. But in the bottom is where they had a bunch of lined up business mixed in with a few homes, even a little club down there, all of that. But one thing we noticed, everything was muddy. I first came upon the barbershop. The barbershops, it was debris. It was mud everywhere. It was coated everywhere. We saw fish. We saw catfish. We saw mud. We saw not mud. We saw brim. We saw bass. We saw eels. We saw reptiles and things we never seen before. We saw sticks and debris, and it was just sludge everywhere. And we looked on the side of the buildings, and we saw sludge that went higher than 6 feet. And I made my way through, and it was still early in the morning. I saw my uncle's shop, went down to my uncle's shop, and water had went up to 8 feet on his wall. You could see the water went at 8 feet. Cars were crushed. Cars were turned upside down. There was this stench that was like, I can't even describe. And all of the businesses were flooded out. And it was debris, things that were in the road that shouldn't have been in the road. It literally picked up cars and trucks and just threw them around like it was nothing, right? And I was like, what in the world going on? And my uncle said, hey, there was a flood. So what happened was all of those, there were a lot of private landowners, a lot of agriculture. They had dammed up lakes and streams and different things like that at that time before a lot of the regulation had really kicked in. And they dammed up their personal ponds, stock ponds, and even true rivers and lakes and streams, and a lot of them they burst. They not only flooded, but they burst. And what it did, it gave a strong, tremendous. It was basically a big old amount of water that came down to every stream and little creeks. We call them, like we had a Muckalee Creek coming through near Flint River. All of those rivers and creeks and streams, they all exploded and water went everywhere. And so there were spots of town, spots of places in town that were definitely impacted. I think we lost about 20 plus people in our hometown. We had businesses that closed in the middle of the night during the flood. Manufacturing business where they released their employees. Some of the employees were headed home in the midst of the flood. They were consumed by the flood. We had people going to school that morning, going to their jobs that morning. They were consumed by the flood. My beautiful queen, Gigi, she lost family members. She lost one family. It was a father and 3 sons. Lost all of them in the flood. And a lot of families were impacted. And of course, that was the same storm, that was the same flood. They call it a 100-year flood, but that was the same flood where you would see caskets floating down our neighboring town in Albany, Georgia. You would see caskets just coming out the ground, bubbling out the ground and just floating. The first thing that I did was get with my cousins. We went around and we started checking on people. We helped with some rescue and retrieval. We did pull people from their homes that didn't make it. We saw people clinging to things. And even though they were no longer alive, they were still holding on. We saw people that gathered together and we took those little rafts and little boats, and we just kind of tried to get everybody, get the animals and get everything, and try to rescue as many people as we possibly could. But that was an eye-opening situation. So when I see these rains and when I see these tremendous things, it really hits home. It really touches my heart. And I really want to really let you all know, don't take it for granted. If you hear flooding, you hear flash floods coming your way, let's make sure we take it not just for our personal property, but for our lives too as well. So I want to talk about some of those things. I want to go into some of those things. And let's talk about some strategies that you can do to better prepare yourself for those situations. We could not leave outside of the city for quite some time. It was almost a week. We were pretty much landlocked inside of that city. And different towns could not go outside of their towns because a lot of the towns in the early days where cities and towns were erected, you typically will see a waterway near a city or a creek or a stream. You'll see a water source near a lot of those towns. So many towns were affected by that storm. And are you prepared? Are you ready? Do you notice that when it rains, it's a low-lying area? Do you have sandbags? Or do you have a concrete slab that your home live on? Do you have an older home where it may have brick pillars, may have wood pillars, it may have concrete pillars? Is your structure strong? Is it sustainable? Are you checking? Do you have a way of, if you get wet in the middle of the night, to protect yourself from hypothermia? Do you have things placed, your personal papers, your personal records, all the information? Do you have a way to secure them without them getting wet? Your birth certificates, your social security cards. Do you truly have your items secure? If you have a home that may have some foundational issues or maybe even low to the ground. I remember we built our second home. Our second home, we built it in a community. And one of the things I did not like about that home, it was on a concrete slab. It had hardy plank, but it was so low to the ground. With it being so low to the ground, even though it had like a brick base, but the actual concrete slab was low. And what happened within 1 or 2 years, first of all, when you build a brand new house, understand a brand new home settles. So in the beginning, you might see that home sit inches from the actual ground, but as rain runs, you don't have any gutters, you don't have a system. You watch that rain and that house starts to settle on that ground foundation. Remember, we talked about the foundation, protecting the foundation, putting down straw, putting down polymaterial, moisture barriers. It's so important, no matter whether you have a concrete slab or whatever. That true, when they bring in that dirt to truly give you, that's your foundation. No matter where you put in a concrete slab, no matter you're doing a raise, that dirt that they put in, they compact, they put it in, that's your foundation. So secure it. Grow you some grasses around your borders. You know, you see homes with border grass. You see homes with mono grass all the way around it. Some people wonder why they got grass. That looks neat, but I worry about snakes. I worry about all these lizards, and I worry about all this. There was reasons why they used to put border grass around, not only just to keep the weeds out of flower beds, but also to protect that foundation so they can lessen that impact. Do you have mulch around your home? If you don't have mulch around your home, do you have a gutter system? Do you have grass, something that can absorb it? If you know you got a low-lying area, you watch, and when the rain comes, it seems like the water kind of comes back into your front door, even though you might have 1 or 2 inches above your steep hole or your threshold. Do you have a collection of water sitting there? If you have a collection of water, now is the time to go ahead and prepare yourself. You might want to get some sandbags, right? Or if you have enough time, you might want to take a look at trying to do some type of rainwater catchment. You might want to do some gutters. You might want to do some type of drainage. I know my stepdad, what he did, they had a lot of rain, and it was like the home sat down and the backyard sloped up. So the rain would come down and come and puddle near their back patio. So what he did, he dug trenches and he put drain piping down and he put drains in, and he took that water and took it out to the street. Work on some of those projects. Think about some of those projects because you have time, y'all. You have time. So let me go. I see some people in the chat. I don't want to ignore you. I just want to make sure I go through some of this material, and I want to keep it consistent to it. The off-grid trucker, man. I'm getting tongue-tied today. What's going on, man? Many blessings to you. Welcome on in, man. Good to see you. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Family man, how you doing? He put them T's in the chat. What's up, man? Put some T's in the chat. Y'all know y'all thankful. It's a blessing to be here. You know it's a blessing to be here. Put some T's in the chat. That's all I'm saying. Give thanks. Give thanks. Ain't about you or me, but it's about the Most High. And for what's going on? Good to see you too. What's up to you? What's up to you? Love that icon, man. I wish I could get in there, man. Wish I could get on that. Get what's on that icon. Many blessings to you. Many blessings to you. Welcome on in. Is that Tommy Bites? Tommy Bites TV and Life. Many blessings to you. Hi, fam. This happened to us in Columbia, South Carolina, and in Sumter, South Carolina. Some of our family members' caskets were moved roads halfway. What? We have to prepare. You're absolutely right. I mean, when you start unearthing things, you get creepy crawlers. Like I said, we saw eels, and they were still alive. They were in homes, they were in shops, and that's a lot of cleaning up, y'all. I don't wish that on anybody. You know, the ones that were the easiest to clean was the concrete buildings. Those buildings, my uncle, he had at that time, he had a concrete building, and it's still. That Georgia clay sticks to everything. You go down there, if it wasn't for being painted, you would still see that Georgia clay line on there after decades since that has happened. You know, look, we're going over it. We're going over it, Ms. Tommy Bites. We're gonna go over some resources. We might not go into it That's so important. Now, y'all think about it. I want y'all to take a look at your policy. I'm glad you brought it up. Take a look at your policy on home insurance. Do you have flood insurance? Sometimes you don't have storms and you got weather coming on like this. You got all this stuff that we never heard of. We got whole regions flooding. It used to be little pockets in the city or different areas in the city. We got whole regions in South Florida. We had whole regions and cities flooding. Some people didn't have flood insurance. If you don't have flood insurance, now there are some things that will cover, but take a look at your policy. All policies are different. Floods happen different ways. Things you can claim due to certain circumstances without having flood insurance, but talk to your insurance professional and truly take a look at your policy and get an understanding. Now, just say if you do have flood insurance. So just say you have flood insurance and you got damage. Are you prepared for the deductible? Are you financially fit for the deductible, right? Are you financially fit for until you're able to reach your insurance? Do you have emergency funds? Do you have some of those funds in a watertight, maybe a Ziploc bag, maybe somewhere where you can easily reach? Do you have, if it's raining, if you're in a low-lying area, you know it could flood. Do you have a place you can get out of there and go? If you're in a new city, you don't know anybody. Do you know where you can go? Scout out your evacuation routes. We in Florida, we so used to it. But some of us were not ready for this flood, for this amount of rain, continuous rain. Do you know what to do in your vehicles? If you got a low vehicle, my daughter, I'm glad she got rid of her last vehicle. She had a Ford, nothing against the Ford, but it was a Ford, not a Focus. Oh man, it was a Ford. Was it a Focus or Fusion? Ford, it was a little Ford. That car was so low to the ground, if a stick was lying in the road, you could hear it rumble up against the floor pan. Do not risk it. Do not risk going through standing water. We lost lives in our city. One young lady that she was a little bit older than me, but I remember her in school. She left her job because the job released her that night. She lived right down the road from me. And she was on her way home. And that water was going, they said that water, they clocked that water at different places going up to about anywhere from 60 to 100 miles per hour. That water was taking skin off of people. And I'm telling you true. It was going so fast. She was in her car driving, really probably couldn't see. But at the base of the road that I lived on, Town Creek went through it. It looked like solid ground. It just looked like it was a lot of water, but there was no road there. There was no road there. She went into that water puddle, as she thought, and it took her car off the road, and we found her car down in an embankment, and she didn't make it. Don't chance it, y'all. Don't wait till the last minute to get out. If you know you're in a compromised area, you know you got some serious water that comes even in a heavy storm, find you a place. Be prepared to have your place to go, because it's not worth it. What's up, Brother Lawrence? Good to see you, my brother. What's going on? Good to see you. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. But don't chance it, y'all. Don't chance it. Let's see. Hey, Natasha, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome to Eco Neighbor channel. Welcome on in. Okay, I see you. I see you, Brother Lawrence. Got them T's in the chat. We put T's in the chat if you're thankful. If you're thankful, put some T's in the chat. I see you with the T's in the chat. Love the icon. Love the icon. I'm not gonna try to mess up your name. I'm bad with names, but I see your icon. But yeah, we got to be prepared. Cooking at Pam's Place. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Welcome on in. Good to see you. Good to see you today. So let's talk about a few resources. We're going to go in and jump into some resources, okay? I'm going to share my screen. And now is the time to prepare, without a doubt. Now is the time to truly prepare. So let me go in here and share a few things. And y'all, please let me know if when y'all see my screen. Give me a thumbs up when you see my screen. Of course, it's taking a little while to upload, but give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Fallen Skies, what's going on? What's going on? If y'all can see the presentation, give me a thumbs up. I can see it. I'm not quite sure if y'all can see it, but give me a thumbs up before we kind of go through this. These are a few resources that I want to share with you all. These resources are here for you. They're open to the public. These are free government assistance programs or quasi-government programs. So please take a look at some of these things because these are resources, and don't wait till the last minute. You don't want to try to go looking for this video when the lights are out and when you're going through the storm. You want to go ahead and prepare. And I see Brother Lawrence. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the heads up. Hey, Gigi, how you doing, beautiful queen? Good to see you. Good to see you. So here we are. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. Most of us heard of FEMA. The website is www.fema.gov. The contact number is 1-800-621-FEMA or 1-800-621-3362. They have resources not just only for flood, but emergency. They deal with emergency management. They deal with state government. They deal with local government. They deal with national government agencies as well. This should be your primary resource. Go ahead and take this number, take this website, lock it down into your favorites, put this number into your phone. These take the time and get familiar with the website. I love going to this website. As you all know, I live in the state of Florida, and state of Florida, you need to have this in your favorite. They have resources when they're dealing with flood risk maps. It can show you the flood risk maps. It can show you where you actually located. You can look at and see. Another resource you want to look at is your local county. Take a look and see where your land is. Is it in a flood zone? If it's not in flood zone, they also prepare you with some tools to help you. Information is the key, y'all. How do you overcome fear? You overcome fear with information. It also gives you guidelines for creating emergency plans. It's so important that we have plans. Do you have a list of your contacts? Make sure you document these contacts. Make sure that it's waterproof in your kits. Put those contacts. Go old school on me. Go old school. Don't just lock things in your phone. What happened if you're laying in the bed and it started flooding, or your phone is on your nightstand and all of a sudden you're laying in the bed at night and you feel wetness in your bed and your nightstand is underwater and you can't even find your phone, and you reach over and you even knock it down into the water. Have you a place where you can easily ready access it and get it, and then write down some of your contact, because we don't remember numbers no more. We don't remember telephone numbers. We don't remember addresses. And write down the website, because if you can get to a local library or a local resource, write down some of these information as well. So have your list of your emergency contacts. Have your not just the name, the number, the address, any type of pertinent information. Your job, your management, so that you can alert your management. Also, if human resources, Go ahead and put down, if you're employed, write down your human resource manager, department, the name, and your local emergency response management team too as well. And they also have disaster recovery assistance program. Notice that it's recovery. So after the storm, a lot of times you'll hear your governors, you hear your leadership, so your state declare a state of emergency. Most of the time when you have a state of emergency, it provides funding to distribute throughout your community. And if you're on that list, make sure that you reach out and utilize some of those assistant programs as well. They are there for you. They are right there for you. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. We heard it. We see it. We see that symbol on our weather station. Make sure that you document this website, www.noaa.gov, or the contact is 1-888-697-6953. They give you real-time weather updates and alerts. Make sure they got your radios, so all your emergency radios that you have, try to buy, when you buy emergency radio, buy your wind-up radio. Make sure that it's waterproof. Buy waterproof emergency response, emergency preparedness gear. Not only just get those power packs, not only get those backup battery stations. If you know you're going to be in some flood zones, you know there's flooding, buy you enough big bags or big containers or locking containers to put down some of your power stations inside of theirs, some of your portable power units, your electronics, things that you don't want to lose, your resources, a fan. Do you have a big enough water containment system? Make sure that you have good, clean water. Fill up your tubs if you can. Fill up your water containers. Get your water before the flood comes, because after the flood, guess what happens? A lot of times they don't allow you to drink the water. The water is not drinkable. And that can go on for weeks, sometimes even months to certain areas. Because remember, when the flood comes, cars get turned over, big trucks, gas stations, all of the fuel and everything gets into the water, and it contaminates the water. So be prepared. Water is so important because it gets hot, and these are summer months. It get hot and it get dry. And typically after the rain, guess what happens? Humidity goes up. It's hard to breathe. It's heavy. It's that heavy heat, that muggy heat after that. So be prepared for those certain situations. They have flood and storm surge information, also educational resources on severe weather preparedness. So tap into those resources. Let's go on down. American Red Cross. American Red Cross is still alive and kicking. They can provide a lot of resources. www.redcross.org. That's www.redcross.org. And the contact number is 1-800-RED-CROSS or 1-800-733-2767. They provide emergency preparedness. Red Cross is there. They're on the front line. You will see they mobile. If they can get in, as soon as they get accessibility, they get in. Let me say this, by the way. Water, a lot of us, we think about down power lines during tornadoes, during windstorms. Water will compromise power poles. Water will compromise power stations. Water will compromise even underground wiring, the boxes. You have ants, insects. They rise out the ground. Guess what they get into? They get into those power boxes. When they get into those power boxes, in a matter of days, they can build a bunch of nests. They build their nests inside of those power boxes. Guess what happened? They short out those power boxes. Now you just encountered a flood. You don't have any drinking water. It's hot, it's humid. Now you don't have any electricity. So be prepared, fam. Be prepared. Ready.gov. This is a site too as well, www.ready.gov. It's a resource, a step-by-step guide for creating an emergency plan. So if you don't have an emergency plan, you need to start creating an emergency plan. You need to be prepared. And if you don't have those emergency plans ready and you need help creating it, take a look at www.ready.gov. They give you information on building emergency kits. I mean, we got a lot of videos, but these are the professionals. These are the ones that recommend it. These are not these people by running a mill who say, hey, I went to a couple of stores and I put something in a bag. These are true professionals. They have witnessed a bunch of different disasters. They have aided and helped people through a bunch of disasters. They can give you a lot of tips for flood proofing homes and preparing for various disasters. Great resources. Please take a look at those resources too as well. National Weather Service, the NWS. You know, when it comes to government, they always have the acronyms. Everything got an acronym. So some of those acronyms can definitely help you remember the name of these resources. But the National Weather Service, the website is www.weather.gov. You can locate your local office contact information. So they have a search option where when you go to their website, you can go and find someone in your very region or area that can give you true play-by-play information. And they're scattered throughout the nation. So very good resources. They give you information on severe weather warnings and alerts, flood watches, and advisors. And I do recommend all of these resources. If you see they have an app, go ahead and load those apps to your phone. Load those apps to your phone. Get rid of some of those games. Get rid of some of those social media things, and be prepared. You know, whether you delete them later on once you get through the storm, that's fine. But those resources will be a whole lot more beneficial to you than playing tic-tac-toe. Trust me. Trust me. You're going to really want to play-by-play action, okay? They give you flood watches, and they also give you weather safety tips, and they give educational information too that you can download from their website. And so it's a bunch of different resources. So the U.S. Geological Survey, or the USGS, the website is www.usgs.gov. The contact number is 1-888-ASK-USGS or 1-888-275-8747. They provide resources such as flood and river gauge data. If you know your area, get to know what lakes and what streams are you nearby, what water tributaries are you nearby. Do you know if you live on a lake or you live on a pond, do you know the actual flood gauge or the gauge of that river or that stream? If you notice a lot throughout the state of Florida, you'll see like in the docks, you'll see coming out of the water, protruding out of the water, you'll see like a measuring device, and you'll see it shows you the feet and the height or the water height. Know when it floods if you live around any of those areas. Please know that area. Real-time flood maps and forecasts. Thank y'all for dropping in the chat. We're going to go in the chat. Once I get through a few of these, I see some good information. Bougie and laid out some nuggets of truth, and I'm going to come back and tap into that. They give real-time flood maps and forecasts, information on natural hazards, and what type of impacts have been made too. So they can give you play-by-play. Community emergency response team. Somebody already put in the chat. I saw it in the chat, kind of scroll up in the chat. So the CERT, CERT, that's the acronym. The website is www.ready.gov/CERT. Training programs for disaster preparedness, local CERT programs. There are a lot of programs, community free based programs. Get involved, especially if you have an active area. Some of us, we know our areas are very active. If there's a sneeze of the weather, you know that it's going to be pretty rough. It's going to be the flu for your area. If where most people encounter just a little common cold when we talk about weather-wise, but your area gets the flu, go ahead and get a part of the team, get a part of the program, and learn and download the directories in your local community emergency response team. Community-based emergency response resources. Don't forget, I put this one right here because a lot of times we look at the federal, the national resources. We need to really look at our local government website. Start paying attention for your emergency response. Learn your county, learn your statewide, learn your regional emergency response resources. Learn your check with your sheriff, your local sheriff, police. Check with all of your government, Department of Health, emergency response. Check with your community resources too as well. Please utilize your local government because they on the front line. They are the nearest to you. They can provide you the play-by-play action. And then Google, don't play with it. Look at Google. One thing I do want to tell you, if you really want to confirm that you're getting good concrete information, look, most state websites will end in .gov. Look for websites that end in .gov. It used to be .org, but now we're getting all kinds of sites with .org. But look for those ending sites that says your state. It could be the abbreviation of the state, like .fl for Florida, .gov, .us. Start looking for those sites. Go to a real legitimate site, and you'll notice a pattern with all of your state sites, your community, your local government. They'll have an ending, and all of those resources that can help you see if you got a real, true connected to the government resource, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff out there that is not official. They will mimic it. So make sure that you try to get familiar with your sites. And state and local government, if you're listening, try to be uniform with your sites and the way that you orchestrate your sites, and get it out to the public and do your due diligence in getting the resources out there too. So the National Flood Insurance, my good friend, I don't want to mess up her name because she got several channels on Tommy Bites TV and Life. She mentioned about flood insurance. So the National Flood Insurance Program, visit that website, www.floodsmart, all one word, .gov. That's www.floodsmart.gov. The contact number is 1-800-427-4661. They give information on flood insurance options, tips on protecting property. If you're not sure what to do, you don't trust your insurance agent, hopefully you'll find a good professional. You can confirm it. It's more like this can be a resource for like a second opinion, almost like you go to the doctor and the doctor tell you something. Now you want a second opinion. They can give you tips on protecting your property from flood damage and also information about insurance options too as well. Or even before you want to address or communicate with your insurance agent, you might want to go to this site to get more familiarized with it. And then you want to be prepared when you have that conversation with your insurance agency. Flood risk assessment tools. You can do a lot of this information yourself. You can take a look at your home. You can take a look at your business, your establishment, and you can obtain a lot of that information too as well. So with that said, we're going to go into the chat. Now, I know it was a lot of information. And hopefully I didn't put you to sleep with this information. I know it's dry information, but it's necessary. We got to understand that we got to be able to have on our plates. You can't have all desserts, all entertainment and booty shaking and snapping and clapping and all that kind of stuff. You got to have a dietary plan with some vegetables, some fruits, some things that are good for you that you may not want to digest. I know this was kind of a little bit dry, but I tried my best to kind of keep you alive and alert. And now we're going to go into the chat, and I'm going to have to, hey, Janet, how you doing? How are you doing today? Welcome in. Janet says, thank you, Eco, for this information. Much needed. I appreciate that. Brother Lawrence got some 555s, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you for that feedback. Let me scroll up because I did see a few things that I definitely want to go back. Off the grid trucker says, make sure you purchase a laminated machine so you can laminate important documents. Amen and amen. You know, you want to get anything that you can waterproof. And off the grid trucker, I'm quite sure he can give you some good tidbits too. Some of us, we're not in homes. Some of us in yurts. Some of us are, thank God I ain't in no RV no more. Some of us in RVs. Some of us are working and traveling, commute. Please learn what you need to do and keep things with you in your compartments near you. You know, if you did run into running water, do you know what to do? Do you roll the windows up? Do you crack the windows? Do you, if you were washed off the road into a body of water, do you know what to do? Do you have something to crack the glass? Do you need to crack the glass? What do you do? So please prepare yourself. Look for those nuggets of truth. Find out talk to some of your law enforcement. They can give you a lot of resources. Ask the lawman. Shoot, we got Ask the Lawman in here. Ask the Lawman can give you a lot of different resources too. He's seen it all. I mean, very experienced. And I love that he's a part of the community because a lot of times, especially in the African American community, we shy away from law enforcement, but we have resources that we can relate to, we can talk to, and you ain't gonna get no realer than Ask the Lawman. So one of the things, if you want to learn and you want to develop some of those relationships, let's utilize our resources, y'all. All right, let's go. I saw something else. It's flooding now in parts of Texas, yes, and let's keep them in thoughts and prayers, and let's see if we can provide any kind of resources that we can too as well, because there's a lot of Red Cross that we can help and assist. There's a lot of other organizations that we can help and assist too as well. Let's see. Tommy Bite said we're on the same page today. Yeah, but every day you on that. Every day you prepare. Every day Tommy Bikes prepare us and keep us informed on all the current events. So y'all check out Tommy Bikes TV and Life. Make sure you understand that there's nothing, whatever's going on in local or national news, she can keep you up on that too at that point. And also shout out a great supporter to Cooking at Pam's Place. If y'all don't know Cooking at Pam's Place, make sure everybody's in the chat. Matter of fact, just go ahead and show them some love. That way, we can definitely support one another. Flood zones. Brother Lawrence said flood zones are great to check before buying land. Amen and double amen and triple amen. Definitely, before you buy house, home, whatever, check the flood zone map, because you don't want to take that chance. And with these storms getting so intense, there are records that have been over 100 years old for as heat index, water, all of that. We're getting some unusual weather. I don't know whether it's just this year, but we're watching a wave from 2020 all the way to now. It's things that it's like every day now we just breaking records day by day by day. Bougie says you also have CERT. That is a free training for, yes, most definitely. That's the message I saw. Thank you, Bougie. Thank you so much. I told you, Bougie Prep. Yeah, I'm telling you, we got resources here, y'all. Tap into them. Get familiar with these channels. Every time you empty a jelly or peanut butter jar or any jar you choose, wash it out, and fill it with water. There it is. Also, fill it up with some documents, some papers, maybe a business card. You went somewhere and you met somebody that can be a great resources, especially after the storm. You might met someone in construction, water mitigation, or different things like that. Go ahead and use some of those containers to keep anything that's paper or anything that will not make it through water. So that's a great option too as well. And then it's recycling. Therefore, we're not just throwing in the landfills as well. Learn how to filter and purify water. It's two different things. Yes, it is. And just because you boil it don't mean it's clean. Okay. Understand that. Okay. Let me go down. Let's see. So Bougie says, in my area, CERT or CERT had classes to help you get a ham radio license and gave away equipment. So ham radios, those are hand radios. Those are radios that they're not on powered by quote electricity. You can have those in your car. One of those things we see a lot of people with special license plates, with those funny license plates. They have those hand radios. They're in their trucks. We're in the country. We got a lot of people with hand radios that got them big old antennas and all that. And in emergency, they definitely are so critical to help the community, to help people in the community for rescue, research, and information too as well. So hand radios, and there is a certification that you can obtain as far as a licensing to be a true certified hand radio operator too. And they also assist some of the emergency response on how to locate different areas to go to provide resources as well. Gigi says, yes, having people who are unaffected come around to drop off bags of water, snacks, and etc. makes a world of difference to those. Yes, it does, man. Yes, it does. We've seen situations where we've been in hurricanes, after tornadoes and stuff. And I'm telling you, just a bottle of water is such a blessing. Even just something with a little salt material, because you become dehydrated. Just having some people say, why they got these snacks? I mean, a granola bar, a bag of tater chips. You have no idea how it can rejuvenate your body when you're going through dehydration and different things as such. So thank you so much for sharing that too as well. Don't forget, I appreciate that. Don't forget to hit the like button for our amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that, Gigi. And I did not pay her to say that too as well. Myra, how you doing? In all your prepping, be alert to everything and everybody. Can't be much help if you don't know what to do. Also have a meetup plan and contacts. Woo! Do your family know where to gather? And this is the crazy thing. After some of these storms, you got to be careful the place where you want them to meet, because sometimes they're not even there. They're not even recognizable. Depends on the severity of the storm, floods, hurricanes, whatever. You don't even have a streets anymore. You don't even know whether you're walking on the street or whether you're walking through somebody's yard. And that's another thing. After the storm, stay put. Do not go exploring, because you have power lines, you have insects, you have, like I said, feces, you have bacteria, you got reptiles, you got all kinds of stuff running around. If you're in a good area that you can be safe, stay there until emergency response can give you clearance. Stay there, please. Hey, Gigi, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Much love to you. Thanks so much for giving that super chat. Really appreciate that super chat. Quick dam is a tool to use to absorb the water, use a barrier, and direct the water. So those are things I would recommend for you to just go ahead and Google Bougie Prepper. have laid it out. I know we had those little absorb whenever they touch moisture, they swell up, and they can provide like a barrier between the entry level, the entry into your homes, your garages. Don't sleep on garages. Don't just sandbag, or just divert water from your doors, but your garage door is important too. Check garage doors. Some of us, we get frustrated with those pads. Some of us, we have ran over those pads. We have discarded those pads where they meet. They have a pad going on the concrete, and then when the door come down, it's another pad that touches it that seals that door shut. Some of us have gotten rid of those pads or moved them, put them back in place, because that can also help with the water barrier too as well. Will water come in? Yes, but it will slow that water from coming in too as well. Because there's times where garages get flooded, and then it'll end up being into your garage door too as well. So I think I made it. I think I made it to the end of the chat. People underestimate the small things. Yes, the small things become big things, especially when you don't have them. And just understand that we got a lot of challenges come our way. Texas, our thoughts and our prayers are with you. South Florida, North, the whole nation, the whole world, our thoughts and prayers are with you. But if you have a chance to prepare yourself right now, you have a chance to get your house in order or get your business in order. Even if you are an entrepreneur, do you have a disaster plan? Do you have employees working with you? Do you hire employees? Pay attention to the weather every day. Make sure you don't put their lives in jeopardy, because their lives are so far more important than this tangible stuff, y'all. If you're in management leadership, keep your eyes on the weather. Communicate that with your employees. Do you have your employees' personal numbers? Email. Can you text them? Are you blocked? I'm not saying go and invade and snoop, but I'm saying when it comes to a true emergency, do you all have an emergency plan? And is that communicated? Is that shared with your staff? If you're in HR, make sure that your business has a disaster plan, an emergency plan. If they don't, please tap into resources. There's a lot of resources in this video. There's a lot of resources in the chat. Tap into the chat to help you with an emergency plan. And I'm telling you, you can save a lot of lives. You can help a lot of different people. But you know what? You made it to another episode, not Eco Nation News, but Eco Neighbor Live. So you made it to another session and you survived. I thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for participating. You know the chat be on fire. Y'all amazing. Thank you so much for your support. But just do me a favor. Make sure that you prepare now. Do not wait. And then I need you to do one more favor for me. Just one more favor. Please. Please. Make sure whatever you do, make sure that you keep on growing. Grow. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. And until the next time, love y'all. See ya.